All right. So diaries, logbooks, and letters are the most common descriptive items in the archives. The ones that are going to sit down and tell a story, whether it's an official story or an unofficial story from the perspective of a writer. It's not the only thing we have, and it's not the only way to tease out information about the past. Another great way to do that is through accounts, which make up a huge proportion of what we have. And that's because, whenever money is involved, particularly when money is involved across oceans, people tend to want to know where it goes. And this has not changed. It is still going on. So we see accounts for all sorts of tiny things that we might not otherwise have records of. In this case, we have loose accounts. They're often titled disbursements. These are disbursements from the Schooner Challenge in 1868, 1867, and 68. The Schooner Challenge was built in Maine. Her captain was Gamaliel Pendleton from Islesboro, island of Islesboro. And you have a number of bills. So this one, Boston, May 1858. What sorts of things do you need to spend money on? Well, food is one of them. Flour, butter, beans, potatoes, oolong tea. Anything you might want to eat is going to have money spent, and that's going to get recorded for the ship's stores. Also need to spend money on ship repairs. So we have here bits of the rigging, thimbles, jib hanks, fair leads, sail needles, kinds of things that you need to repair a ship and keep it going. Sometimes you also see bills for more extensive repairs, which is what we have here. Schooner Challenge and owners is being billed for 15 hours of carpenter's work and 4 hours of work by a caulker and brewer. So probably some of the more extensive routine maintenance that has to happen on a regular basis if you're operating a wooden ship. Accounts might not be the place to look for marine disasters, but it is often where you'll find them. This is a charge from a notary public in Edgertown, Massachusetts. He's noting a protest, which is what you have to file whenever something goes wrong with your ship, something that's going to cost the owner's money at the end of the voyage. And the early articulation of this is really great. The master of the ship is protesting against the wind and the waves and the weather, that he had done nothing wrong in wrecking this cargo. So in this case, a protest means that something went wrong. And looking at other records, we can see that they actually ran aground on Cape Cod, which is not great. They protested. They had a surveyors billed, and they were able to carry on to their destination, but a little bit of money was lost, so a bill was made of that. Also get bills for things like this, procuring freight from Wilmington, North Carolina to Boston. So they're paying somebody a fee to find a cargo for the ship, to find the next bit of business. That's what's going on. You have services for making the ship business run. This is 2 days of lightering coal, excuse the spelling, but hiring a small boat to take the cargo from the ship to shore. If you couldn't get a spot at the dock, you would be lightering. So services like this get recorded. Often a lot of people who in the maritime world don't write a lot of documents on their own account, like a lighter owner, will get recorded in a bigger ship's business. We also have pilotage. Schooner Challenge, pilotage from the river, from the ocean to Wilmington, North Carolina. And last, we get official documents, customs clearances, paying customs fees, import duties, whatever port fees might need to be paid. And in the case of a schooner running coastally, running to North Carolina in the 1850s, you also have documents like this one, which reads, "This is to certify that the schooner called the Challenge, of which Pendleton is master, leaving the Cape Fear River by the main bar, in charge of a pilot, has this day been duly visited, searched, and fumigated by me, according to the ordinances of the Commission of Navigation and Pilotage for the Cape Fear River, in such cases made and provided." So this is a lot of language to say the ship has been visited, searched, and fumigated, trying to make sure that a specific kind of nothing leaves Wilmington, North Carolina. And the issue in this case in the 1850s was slaves. The maritime world was a very porous place. There were people of all colors as part of ship's crew. There were ships that were sailing from slave-owning states to free countries. And a lot of people took the opportunity to escape from slavery using the sea. And so port towns, especially port towns in the American South, started passing these ordinances that if you were leaving to a northern port, you had to be searched, your ship had to be searched. And in some cases, like Wilmington, it was going to be fumigated to make sure that nobody was hiding out down below. So not too pleasant, but if you were doing business, this was a reality of life for all Maine captains in the 1850s up until the Civil War. So a lot of different threads of history show up in accounts, in documents that might otherwise seem pretty unremarkable. And with the right amount of effort, I think there's a lot of stories to be said there.